So welcome back to Managerial Accounting, my lovely hotel room in Tamarack, Florida. This brief little mini lecture will cover off Learning Objective 4 for this chapter and Learning Objective 5. Learning Objective 6 is in the appendix, and for purposes of what you're responsible for from Chapter 3, you can assume that your appendix has been removed. So we've learned how to do a production report. Now we have to figure out how management actually uses those. So we can use that production report to actually compare the costs from month to month, and we can investigate when the costs go up and when the costs go down. So case of Frozen Delight here, we've got a cost of production report for the mixing department. Shows the beginning inventory cost of $6,225. So July 1st inventory shows that cost, and that is made up of direct materials cost of $5,000, and we know from direct materials that they're right at the beginning of the process. So you get 5,000 gallons there. Those are my equivalent units. And the conversion costs were 70% completed at the beginning of the period. So in the month of July, basically what happened there is that we added another 30% to the materials. But if we just focus on the costs or in the beginning inventory, we can see the material cost per equivalent unit was $5,000 divided by 5,000 gallons right there, $5,000 divided by 5,000 gallons. And as far as the conversion cost, the total conversion costs that were incurred were 1,225, and those conversion costs were 70% complete. So if you multiply 5,000 by 70%, I think you get 3,500. So what was in the beginning inventory had a cost per equivalent unit of $1 worth of materials and 35 cents with regard to conversion costs. Out of those, so that was what was in beginning inventory July 1st. So that was that's reflective of what the costs were in June. However, when we computed the cost for July, we saw that the cost per equivalent unit was $1.10 for July, which was a 10-cent increase. And the cost per equivalent unit for conversion cost actually went down from 35 cents to 30 cents. So we could look into this and we can look for an explanation. Why did the materials cost go up? And why did the conversion costs go down? Right. So we don't have the answer right here in terms of what happened. We can speculate that maybe the materials cost went up. That could be a factor there. And as far as the conversion cost going down, maybe that was reflective of us making more units. I really don't know till I investigate it. But both of these variances here are things worth investigating. Right, so this is how production reports are used, and what you can do is you can actually take a look at the costs embodied in the work in process inventory at the beginning of the month, compare those to the actual costs during the month, and investigate the variances. Right. Quick little process cost here. The cost of production report is often used by managers for analyzing the change in conversion and materials cost per. Is it whole unit, equivalent unit, partial unit, or completed units between periods? Well, I think what we're most concerned about here is the cost per equivalent unit, because that's the cost of both materials and conversion costs added this period. So is that correct? Yep, not surprisingly, or hopefully not surprisingly. It is. Our focus is on the cost per equivalent unit. All right, just the last one here quickly on Learning Objective 5, analysis for decision making, analyzing total process costs here. So we're looking at the cost of production report here for April. We're looking at the cost of production for May. Notice that May, we made 200,000 units. So we actually made more units. And when we consider the material, the labor, the energy, repairs, tank cleaning, those all sound like overhead to me. Total costs for April were 50,000, and we made 100,000 units. Those were the units completed. So we got 50 cents per cost per equivalent unit. And look what happened in May. We actually had $106,000 worth of costs. We made 200,000 units completed. So we got a cost per unit of 53 cents. So when you analyze these, you don't just stop at the cost per equivalent unit. what you need to do is take each of these costs, say materials, direct labor, and so forth, and divide by the number of units. So take that 20,000 and divide by 100,000, and that would give you the cost, direct materials per unit. Same thing in May. Take the 40,600 and divide by 200,000. And when you do that, what you find here is you start to see in terms of that total change from 50 cents to 53 cents, which represents a 6% increase. Notice direct material usage was up. Direct labor as a percentage was down. Energy is way up, so you can speculate why that was the case. No change in repairs, and the tank cleaning costs were up 33% as well. Right? So when you look at the point to be made here is when you compare the unit cost per period, you can drill down deeper and actually get the unit costs, each of the components here. All right, so that's about as far as I wanted to go with this chapter. Again, you're not responsible for Objective 6, so let me skip ahead here. So let's just jump ahead. So putting a lid on this chapter, so be able to describe process costing, be able to prepare a cost of production report like we did in exercise 6, practice exercise, be able to do the journal entries, describe and illustrate the unit cost changes between periods like we did in Objective 4, and describe and illustrate the use of a production report in evaluating company's performance. That's what we did in Objective 5. Don't worry about the weighted average. Okay, folks, enjoy your weekend. I will see you on Tuesday, and this, I think, will be the last video I'll post over the weekend. Adios, au revoir. See you soon. Bye-bye.